This is Nick Whalen from Rotowire. We're talking fantasy basketball rookies for the 2022-23 NBA season. With Chet Holmgren, unfortunately, off the table for this season, there might only be 5 or 6 rookies who come off the board in a lot of fantasy drafts. And the first rookie off the board in most drafts will almost certainly be Paolo Banchero of the Orlando Magic, the number 1 overall pick in the 2022 NBA draft. He's the top rookie in the class, and he should be a good source of points, rebounds, assists right away. He's a good passer for his size. There's plenty of upside with Banchero, that goes without saying, but Orlando does have more talent than most teams that are typically picking number 1 overall. So he's clearly the centerpiece of this rebuild in Orlando, but he's not just going to be handed the ball and told to do whatever he wants every single possession. Cole Anthony is still there. Markelle Fultz is there. Jalen Suggs, Mo Wagner, Wendell Carter, even Mo Bamba could factor into the mix. So there's a lot of options still in Orlando, but Paolo Banchero, pretty clearly the number 1 rookie in fantasy basketball at the moment. Jabari Smith in Houston, another big name to keep an eye on. We thought Jabari Smith was going to go number 1 until about 10 minutes before the draft started. He falls to number 3, but landed in a good spot with the Houston Rockets. Now, Smith did not have a great summer league in Vegas, so some of the luster has worn off his stock, but you can get him outside the top 100 in a lot of early drafts. I still think there's pretty significant value there. There's a lot to like about Jabari Smith. He was a 42% three-point shooter as a freshman at Auburn last season. He averaged over a steal and over a block per game. That is huge for fantasy basketball. Should be a solid scorer, a solid rebounder right away. Likely won't do much as a passer, but like Banchero, he's playing alongside some high usage players, Kevin Porter Jr., Alperen Sengun, and of course Jalen Green, last year's number 2 overall pick. So maybe he acts as more of a role player in year 1, but Jabari Smith should see a ton of minutes for that rebuilding Rockets team. Another rookie I love, and a rookie who I think will probably be the second first-year player off the board in a lot of drafts this year, Keegan Murray of the Sacramento Kings. In terms of early ADP, he's actually ahead of Jabari Smith, going just inside the top 100 in a lot of drafts. He had the best summer league showing of any of the rookies, Banchero included, maybe even including Chet Holmgren, who turned heads in his own right. But Keegan Murray, the Las Vegas Summer League MVP, scored at least 20 points in all 5 of his appearances in Vegas. He can score at all levels. He's great in transition. He's a very good spot-up shooter. Had very good defensive numbers in college at Iowa. We'll see how much that translates to the NBA, but he's a guy who you're kind of earmarking as a starter from day 1 in Sacramento, and like Jabari Smith and like Paolo Banchero, should see a ton of minutes right away. The first guard who will likely come off the board in most drafts, Benedict Matheran of the Indiana Pacers. A ton to like about the Arizona product. He might be in the best pure fantasy situation of any of these top prospects in the 2022 class. Banchero, Smith, Murray included. Malcolm Brogdon, no longer on the team in Indiana. Buddy Hield could be on the move at some point. Same for Miles Turner. Either way, Benedict Matheran should step in as a starter next to Tyrese Halliburton from day 1. And that's a great player you want to be playing alongside. Tyrese Halliburton likely to be among the league leaders in assists. He's a great setup man. As is the case with most rookie guards, especially shooting guards, Matheran's field goal percentage could be an issue, especially early on if he takes a little bit of time to acclimate. But he was a great three-point shooter at Arizona. He shot a good percentage for a guard at the college level, solid free throw shooter as well. So Ben Matheran, my favorite guard for sure in this 2022 NBA draft class. I want to talk about Jaden Ivy of the Detroit Pistons. I love Jaden Ivy. He was one of my favorite players in the country last season at Purdue. Electrifying scorer, electrifying player in transition. I think he's going to have a fun rookie year in Detroit. I don't think he's going to be a great fantasy asset right away. However, I worry about the three-point shooting and how that's going to translate. He could end up being a high turnover player. He was not a great, producer of steals at the college level. Wasn't a great assist guy either, and that's not going to change playing alongside a ball-dominant guard in Cade Cunningham. So I love Jaden Ivy. I'm going to grab him in dynasty formats, but in season-long leagues, I'll likely find myself staying away from Jaden Ivy, maybe grab him at the end of drafts, but I don't think I'm going to be overly aggressive in targeting him. I've compared Jaden Ivy to players like De'Aaron Fox and Jalen Green, two highly touted prospects coming out of college who had very good rookie years by all accounts, but were not great fantasy players. Neither guy, was in the top 150 at the end of the season. And I think Ivy could meet that same fate. I think we could come away feeling pretty good about him at the end of the year. But in terms of fantasy, I think his value might lag behind a little bit. I want to hand out a couple sleepers to watch in this 2022 rookie class. First, Tari Eason of the Houston Rockets. Maybe he won't have a big role right away for that team, but I think the Houston Rockets could move on from Eric Gordon at some point, and they want to hand minutes to young players as they develop a contending roster for the future. Tari Eason, great numbers across the board, all-category producer at LSU, had a very strong summer league, rebounds the ball really well for his position, so he's somebody I'll be keeping an eye on.